Hey, everybody, Self-Care Challenge Day 26 of our 49 days to self-care, right? Today we are talking about communication that includes ourselves. So, how we talk to ourselves, how do we talk about ourselves, as well as how we speak with others, what our communication styles are. And the acronym of Best You today is talking about your truth. So, speaking what is true for you. And that could go both ways, really, right? When you think about speaking your truth, we could speak from our human ego-ness truth, which is still true for us, or we can speak from a space of our highest truth, which is where we want to speak, right? I almost forgot to share us out here. You know what? I'll share us out when we're done. It's okay. So, how we communicate with ourselves, that could be in our thought process, how we verbally, like what words we're choosing to say to self. So, do I beat myself up or am I encouraging to myself? Do I meet myself with love and compassion or with criticism, right? Hearing noises, sorry. Probably my granddaughter. And then your truth. Do we speak the truth from human ego-ness or ego humanness, or do we speak the truth of our highest self? In the Soul Legacy Academy with Iona Mead, today is Relationship Freedom Fridays. So I'm a little late coming on today on the live because relationship freedom. My brother stopped by to visit today, so spent some time communicating, speaking with my brother, which was really nice. And I learned in our conversation today that although he doesn't watch all of my videos, I suppose, like he says, or not all of a video, like not all the way through, that he actually watches a few minutes of it. So that was nice to hear. That was nice to know that he is being supportive in those ways. Sometimes we just don't know, do we? Who's watching, who's listening, who's paying attention. So if you happen to hop on this one, Gary, thank you. I appreciate you. There she is. Hey, Iona. She says, hey, Bev. Excuse me. Thanks for hopping on. I was just sharing my Relationship Freedom Friday. Clearing out the throat. Excuse me. And I was late coming on today because my brother stopped by to visit. So that was really nice. Iona says, yes, I literally just got off my call. Did you? Wow, what timing. See, divine timing. Thanks for being here. He watches. I know, right? So I had shared once before that other family members I didn't realize had watched some of my lives and gave me some really nice feedback about it, which I did not expect at all. And it was very nice to hear. So yeah, I just want to have that appreciation, right? Yeah. So if you're still watching, Gary, Iona says, hey, hey, Gary. Perfect, right? It really is. It really is. 3 hours, man. Holy smokes. Your call was 3 hours? Oh, is it nap time? It would be for me. I'm just saying. Because you've been busy today. I won't speak your business, but you have been busy today. And it says you are welcome. Right? So what a nice, lovely day and energy it is. Like it's outside weather-wise, it's cloudy, and there was a time when that would really affect my moods, right? I'm like, oh man, I dragged so much and be so negative when it was rainy and cloudy and gross outside. But today, like, it's fine. It's still beautiful in many ways. I'm enjoying the energy around me and my relationships. I'm enjoying being me, which is really nice, right? For those of us who have avoided self for a long period of time or didn't have love for self or didn't take care of self, to be okay with being ourselves and having love for self. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing. Again, not in that icky selfishness kind of way, but just an allowing, a receiving, being present, being aware. Anna says, yep, it was awesome. Fantastic. I have been busy. You can speak it. Oh, thank you. So there's a training that Iona was on since she gave me permission. It sounds stinking amazing. So lots of time. What you said, 10 hours, right? The training was 10 hours. And then the call that you just said was 3 hours. That is lots and lots, but good stuff, right? So we've been kind of verbalizing lately the difference between the not the busy, distracted busy or the busy hamster wheel busy or the busy, non-productive busy, but like the passionate, I love this. This is what I've been wanting. This is what I desire. This is what I call in more of type of busy. And that's the kind of busy we love, right? The kind of busy we love. Want more of that kind of busy. Not necessarily 10-hour training every day, busy, but definitely getting that feedback. So I will also, wait, Fiona says, yep, 10 hours, but the 3 hours took out of those 10. Oh, right, because you had the call too. So I had to pause the 10 hours for the call. Still busy and good busy, right? So in some of my day to day before my brother showed, I was led to a couple of videos on YouTube with Aaron Doughty. Now, Daughtry? Forgive me, I might be butchering his name. I know I wrote it down, but again, that doesn't help my pronunciation very much. Either way, I think he's quite well known and or seems to be in many of the spiritual communities. And I've listened to some of his stuff, not as much, but a couple of these videos that I listened to today really drove home for me a couple things. And he was talking about the gateway process and just, one of those he calls esoteric or spiritual aspects. But some things he was saying was really clicking in with me. So as we go on, as they do, right, as we do our healing and our clearing, as we listen. So today's been a really good listening day for me. So remembering communication, it's what we speak, it's our body language, but it's also how we listen. And do we listen? Do we really hear what's being said? Or do we listen to pounce? Do we listen to react, right? Do we listen to put in our part or for certain keywords or buzzwords, if you will? And although sometimes when we listen fully and we listen actively, there are those words that kind of ping for us, right? They really click in and maybe they're synchronistic. I can't pronounce today. Or just those confirmations for us in the day. And there was lots of confirmations. So, and Iona, some things that Iona was sharing today that she was hearing on the training, in addition to some things I was hearing on these videos with Aaron, it was just a lot of good stuff. I'm like, yeah, I felt like a lot of confirmations today. So it was really beautiful. And I took a lot of notes. Some notes I wanted to share, some I didn't necessarily want to share. I just wanted to keep for myself. I don't mean that like a selfish way, but just for my own awareness, my own reflection to go back to. But one of the things he was talking about was that left and right brain and how sometimes our logical brain wants to take over, which then, so I'm not using his words, but just how I heard what he was saying or how I was hearing this part of what he was saying. So how sometimes, and I've done this, like I'm fully aware and have observed many times myself doing where I want to get sucked back into the logical brain, logical thinking. Um, because we are programmed and conditioned to do that, right? So we do research and we get things supported and, we follow certain things. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that sometimes like we overfocus, there's not the balance between the two sides of the brain or two sides of thinking or not thinking, if you will, with our intuition. So when we overfocus on the logical thinking, we tend to lose in a sense, or we're not connected with the intuitive part of our brain on the right brain, right? I'm doing these opposite, but and vice versa. If I'm totally just into the intuitive part of me, that I'm losing, um, dissociating, if you will, from that logical part of brain. I had to think of my words there for a minute. I'll let that drop in. But the idea of the balance and the unity. So I've been talking too about the unity with the, may not always use that word, but that unity with our chakras, the energy in our chakras with ego, humanness, and our soul spirit self, right? How it meets in the heart space. And I see them as, blending or meeting, crossing over. Yes, we transmute it, but it's when it's united in that space. So I was just thinking that word unity kept coming to mind. I don't know that he said unity, but that's again what dropped in my own mind as we shift away from the idea of duality and separation and coming together, unity, right? What else was there? Oh, he was talking about the expectations and how they create resistance, right? And that those are times that we sabotage. And that really hit me today because we do have expectations as human beings, don't we? And then having that trusting and allowing. And I know I've been hearing you say that more lately too about that trust and allow, right? There was a quote that he provided that says, knowing thyself is the key to knowing the universe. And I really love that too. So he was talking about that self-awareness. He was talking about being that observer, right? Really being in observer mode and connecting that more with the pineal gland and the third eye chakra. And again, I just, all these things like all these puzzle pieces coming together and clicking together is stinking amazing. Um, oh, he states, When you close your eyes to duality, you open to a new reality. So that, kind of rhyming together helps us think of it too. And that being at that third eye observer mode, which is awesome. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. So I don't want to give it all away. I didn't separate, as you can see, what I wanted to talk about today for communication and speaking your truth in the throat chakra, although I wanted to bring it up because being in that observer and creating our own reality. So Iona talks about speaking things into existence, right? And in another video that I was watching, because I believe this was the second video that I was watching was of his, was talking about the doing, the action part, making those decisions, right? And being that I am. So yesterday, no, day before yesterday, we talked about in the solar plexus chakra, our self-image, how we see ourselves, how we complete that sentence of I am, right? And how we see ourselves and what roles that we show up in, what hat we're wearing, so to speak. So fill in the blank intentionally. So Iona talks about intentional living codes, right? Intentionally choose, decide for self who you're going to be in a sense, right? What type, I'm gonna air quote that, what type of person we want to be, what characteristics do we want, what roles do we want to have, right? Like we get to choose and really being what we choose, stepping into that role. So it's just really like driven home about the be, right? Just be it. You are you, be you. Take the action, be in that energy of it, the higher vibration. Oh, Iona, that just reminded me of another. See, I think of vibration, I think of Iona. That's a good one, isn't it? Good connection there. So thank you for that. I'm looking though. He said you combine, here it is, take action with vibration. I think you've said this before too. Take action with vibration. So you're doing the thing, you're taking the action, and you include the vibration. So you do the action of what you love. He was talking about passion. So in our spiritual businesses, right, we're doing what we are passionate about. We have that movement, as Iona talks about, the movement. That's our passion. So when we show up with that passion and we're doing what we love and we have that vibration, then, right, you can feel that. You could feel the vibration in that and just showing up and being that and giving ourselves permission. And that was a big thing he touched on today was about the permission. How we tend to, again, I'm sharing this in a way that I heard it, how we tend to wait for permission, right? So sometimes I looked at to Iona for that permission, right? Like so as my coach in that aspect in that role, as I move forward in my business to kind of like wait for that permission for something to do something. Oftentimes as humans, we when we didn't get permission or that validation from a parent, we look and we wait to receive that from someone else, right? So he shared his example of when he first started his YouTube channel and then how he had family members apparently make fun of him because, oh, you're going to make videos? What are you talking to? Your whole 13 subscribers? Like some really rude comments, to be fair. And he's like, yes, I am, but to stay, he called it hold your frame. So regardless, hold your frame. That's what you chose to do. That's who you chose to be or who we choose because we get to choose in every moment. And he said that too. And I love that because I say that as well, right? New moments. We get to choose in every moment. If that's what you choose to do, be it. Like, don't let people knock you off, right? Or knock you over. Iona uses, we say push and pull. Don't get pushed and pulled by other people or don't second guess ourselves. Give yourself permission. So I talk about giving yourself permission to care about yourself, to have that self-love, to take care of you, right? And he was just talking about giving yourself permission to be who you choose to be, how you choose to be it, right? Just do it. Just take the action and do it and add that vibration. Do what you love. And that way you have the vibration of love to add to your action. So that was a whole lot, but it was a lot. And I wanted to share it because it was stinking exciting. And it is part of communication because it's how we speak to ourselves. Is it that part of self that is full of doubt and saying, no, I can't, and I'm not giving myself permission, or I'm waiting for someone else to say that it's okay, or I have that doubt and I beat myself up and somebody said something about it, or somebody's seeing it, or said, oh, right? Whatever the brain wants to do. And he was saying that give yourself permission to be the authority that gives you permission to take that action, right? To do what you love to do. So it was amazing. Let me come up here and catch up with comments. Thank you for being patient while I went on my rant, Iona. Iona says, oh, I think I said that one. Yep, it was awesome. I've been busy. You can speak it. Yep, I'm backing up here. Sorry. 10 hours, going over these again. Calls have been epic. Fantastic. And it says Millionaire Mind Intensive FFS, Financial Freedom Sunday, right? Because my mind goes to something else when I first is what it is. Sorry. Iona says I can't say his name. It says not just me. Thank you. Dottie? Dottie is how I say it. Could very well, yeah, Dottie. I'm gonna say I think I tried to stick a R in there that doesn't belong. Love listening. So many confirmations. Oh, for real. Like even what you were sharing with me, right? I was like clicking with the through the Money Blocks Clearing Challenge. What do we go over? Old story programs, beliefs, right? How we think about things, how we feel about things. Oh, the shift. I wrote some things in my journals, by the way, both of them, both my chakra journal and I don't think I've shown you this. So here are my notes for speaking my truth in my chakra journal. And in the back, which I'm not going to lie, in transparency, I forgot over time that I even put this in my journal binder, is the printout for the 5-day Money Block Clearing Challenge, which means I put it in here and left it. I've not been using it. So Iona, some of what you shared, attitudes of wealth, I actually put in here. And I won't share all of them, but just for my own reminders and like those mantras and those affirmations. So where I have my module 4, self-love is financial freedom, attitudes of wealth, right? And it was really cool too that Aaron, I can't pronounce his last name, was talking about beliefs and that I don't remember if it was part of the gateway process or gateway experiment, but something was said about, I might be mixing the two up, so forgive me if I have, that you go, no, it is, you go beyond the belief systems. So even though in our humanness, which is our human ego-ness in this life experience, we tend to move based on, because beliefs are literally rooted in our human existence, right, in our life experience, but you move beyond those beliefs. Like it's part of that energetic spiritual shift, right? You move beyond the belief systems into knowing thyself. And that was so powerful. Like I could just see the energy of the higher, right? God, source, universe, higher vibrational frequencies, the higher chakras coming in, that unity in the heart space and shifting so that it's not getting pushed and pulled by the beliefs from the humanness and the root chakra, but that guidance, that following and that knowing. So even the guidance, divine guidance that we receive, we look outside of self oftentimes, right? So it's bringing it back in and knowing ourselves more, knowing those connections, knowing, oh man, it's just deep. So what do we talk about? What do I talk about but self-awareness? Like on that deep level. So yeah, so many confirmations. Sorry, I just babbled through half of them. Will share with us. I'm glad you said that because I took that and ran before I even read with it, right? Iona says, yep, trust and allow. Oh man, I love that even more every single day. Which that trust and allow came in for me again today as well. So beautiful. And another thing you had talked about in private, so I won't give all the details, but in private was shared about and Aaron spoke about as well. I talk like we're friends now, but just because I can't pronounce his last name, that projection, mirrors and projection, right? What's going on inside is what we project out. So when we project that out, the universe basically brings more of that back in, right? The law of vibration. Excuse me. So changing that inner environment, the environment as we talked about yesterday, right? Healing and shifting and all the things on the inside. So what we're projecting out can shift. And seeing that in our relationships, right? Again, Iona talks about relationship freedom on Fridays. And I've been able to see that as well. So I didn't put it in our private chat just because I was reading and listening to the messages. And I say getting caught up just because time differences, time zones, right? I'm in the Eastern Standard Time, and Ramona and Iona are ahead of me, like 5 and 7 hours. So I was just taking the time to listen and absorb. And I shared some, like I in, participated in the communication some, but I didn't want to like get too far off. But I see it like with my mom, right? So I don't share a lot of that business online either. But I had my struggles big time. So when we heal through those generational things and those old triggers and old memories and old experiences that get stuck in the gunk in our energetic field, right? I mean, I literally I was in it on the daily, day long, golden opportunities, right, to work through it and clear that out. But when you do, and not that it's quick and easy, but when you do, I'm so blessed and grateful now and appreciate that the shifts have been occurring. And we're not done. Shifts have been occurring. Shifts are occurring still. And to be able to see the change and part of that relationship freedom, it didn't feel like freedom before, but there's more freedom to it now, right? So you can really start to see. So again, what's going on in the inner, and that's what I had to finally surrender to, right? Because there was so much resistance because I didn't like what was going on at all. Um, but finally getting stuck out of that gunk and go inward to start healing and clearing the stuff on the inside. So then what I was projecting out provided a space for more healing and clearing on the outside to come back in, if that makes any sense. Relationships, massive. Iona says, dare to trust is going to come up more. That was the theme on my call. I believe that 1,000,000%. I love that. And it says, yep, soul speaking into existence is lit. Absolutely, right? So speaking our truth. And what do we want to be true? So I'm not saying ignore and avoid the things that come up that create the contrast, because we need those too. And we do some of our best clearing and work when we're aware of it, right? So we're aware of us and align with it, or align beyond it, if you will. Choose what we want to align with. Let me go with that, because we do have choices. We have accountability for those choices too. So owning that more as well. So I've been more open to receive in my own awareness as I'm looking at more things and more things about what still needs clearing, right? And just being okay with that. No blame, shame, and guilt, but just clearing what needs to be cleared. It's really cool, you guys. It's amazing. Not when you're feeling the contrast, but when as you're moving through the contrast, it's amazing. Oh, decide who we're gonna be. Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. I'm like, oh, because he was calling like for himself, as he was using his example as a YouTuber and just getting started with that and just making that decision. Like, okay, I am a full-time YouTuber now, right? He said when he was stuck in that resistance of kind of like a 9 to 5 job, right? Hating his job and the what ifs and should I's of waiting for someone to give permission or validation and all the things. He just made a decision and chose to do it. He said, I'd like to say it was something more like glorified. I don't think that's a word to use, but in that aspect, he's like, but it's not. I made a decision and that's who I am. And that's who I'm going to be. And that's who I showed up to be and held the frame. That's what he would call it, was hold the frame. But yeah, it's neat to really like, yeah, choosing. Definitely. And when it says boom, yep, it is what I want to be known for as a law of vibration teacher. Yeah, well, you're on it, girl. On it. Excuse me, because that's totally how I'm thinking of you. So as you thought of me coming into your presence in a sense to, be okay or receive, or I won't share all the detail of what you said. I think of you in the same way of the law of vibration. So it's perfect. It's beautiful. Iona says sometimes we need to hear it from others. We do. Iona says, I had a coach tell me he would give me permission so I could get used to giving it to myself. I love that. I love that. I've done that in therapies as well, like in counseling. It's a beautiful thing, a beautiful process. And it's even more beautiful when you see others do it for themselves. It's amazing. Iona says, now he has over 1 million subscribers. I know, right? Now look at him. Now look where he's at. Excuse me. Iona says he said he felt like, oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear that phone ringing? I forgot to unplug it. He said he felt like what YouTuber by doing videos daily. Yeah. Again, apologies. Can you hear the phone? Um, and it's just spammers call all the time, and I wish we could just get rid of this phone. Not gonna lie. Get rid of the phone. Actually, I should tell you what rotten thing I'm gonna do. Um, oh, right. So he did talk about doing the videos and how many videos he was doing, and then, making that comparison. And I know you teach this as well. When you view the hours that we spend on outside jobs, like, when I would go to work somewhere else and spend 8 hours in a day, not including drive time to get there, right, and back, excuse me, but when we spend those 8 hours a day, but then somehow coming on live and doing a video daily sounds like so much, right? If I'm not here for a full hour, like I've been rambling now for 25 minutes, it's gone by very quickly. But this is me showing up to contribute, right? Not just spewing, but I'm showing up for me first and foremost. And then if I have something that resonates with whoever listens to this, I'm showing up for you to be supportive in your journey too. So if I can give 8 hours to someone else's business, why can I not give 8 hours to mine? So again, I know you teach us and we've had conversations about this, but again, hearing it again, and then hearing that he was having that same conversation with others, right? And then he was saying that how easy it felt to him and that he would do, sometimes 3 videos a day. Um, so then he was tripling the amount of videos he was providing in a shorter amount of time, right? Kind of feeling almost ahead of the game. I don't know if you said feeling, but being ahead of in that way. Iona says, thanks for sharing. Absolutely. Thanks for listening. It's exciting. It really is. It really is. Love your passionate rants. Thank you. I do feel passionate. I am very excited. Millionaire Mind is the training. Gotcha. Millionaire Mind. Yeah, I did watch. I don't think I told you. I did watch a like a video class with T. Harv Becker. It was the first one I watched. It was pretty cool. He's pretty passionate when he speaks as well. Keeps your attention. Wow, yay. Yeah, I know, right? Truth. Soul guidance. Absolutely. Absolutely. The soul guided influencers way. I love it. Be right. No worries. No worries. Whenever you're ready. Iona says, love this. Thank you. The phone. Could you hear it? Sorry. Hey, Sue. I love you too, girls. Good to see you. Oh, how are you? We need to talk on the private so I can get details. I want to know how you're doing. I don't know if do you watch my live? So I've been coming on every day to talk about self-care. I have acronyms. Iona has acronyms. We work on this together. Well, I mean, she's more, she gives me training for the business aspect. So I'm learning and modeling her blueprint, you could say, for the business aspect. And this is real short version just to get you up if you're still watching. And I'm bringing in more of the self-care because we see a lot of healers and light workers is what I call it, helpers, caregivers, being broke and burnout and just, so focused on taking care of everybody else and not ourselves. And I know Sue knows this about me too, because I was just thinking about Sue today. And I'm saying Sue because I don't know if you're still on or not. It's hard to tell when I'm on StreamYard here. Um, but yeah, I was just thinking about in the past 2 years. So Sue was so kind when my mom was first in the hospital, really sick. It was New Year's. So no, on New Year's she was in the nursing home, but still, like I was back and forth for weeks in the hospitals and the nursing home to bring me dinner and celebrate New Year's with me that year. And it was so kind. I was a hot mess. So I was thinking about Sue saying that she had shared with her husband that she was a little bit worried about me because she had never seen me that way before. And I don't mind sharing because, yep, I was a hot freaking mess. So I'm feeling better now. Self-care is a real thing. Iona's is still here. Thanks, love. I wasn't sure too because you said BRB as well. Thanks for the shout out. Absolutely. Wow, you were thinking about you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was so cool, isn't it? Think about Sue when she shows up on my live. How cool is that? I love it. Which I need to see you. It's been too long again. Just saying. So now that I've went on my rants and rambles and I got to share this time with beautiful people, right? Relationship Freedom Friday. Got to see my brother today. But it's been a half an hour and I have more to do as well. So I'm going to hop off of here, but not before sharing the homework, right? I'm going to do this a little slightly different. I haven't shared about the chakra healing cheat sheet yet, but I want to incorporate that at the time of the homework because that only makes sense. So as always, be aware, assess where you're at, and get in alignment if you're not already, right? So check in with yourself. Today we're talking about the throat chakra, so check in with yourself and how you communicate. Do you speak your truth? And you probably do, kind of like manifesting. We talk about manifesting as if we are only manifesting in good things, and when we don't get the good things we want, we're not manifesting, but we are, right? We're manifesting whatever we're projecting out. So whatever's on the inside, we project out, that's what we're manifesting back in. Same with speaking your truth. Your truth is going to either be your human egoness truth or your highest self, soul spirit truth, right? The unconditional love truth. So, which truth are you speaking? Part of checking in with that is to see how you communicate. Do you communicate assertively, aggressively, passive aggressively? How do you listen, which is part of how we communicate? Do we communicate reactively, right? Are we listening to pounce on a keyword because we just knew it? Gotcha. Or do we I'm giggling because I've done it? Or listen actively to really just hear what's being said and process, giving us a chance to process through it, right? Are we hearing it as it's being said? Because we tend to listen through our own lenses, right? Through the way that we just hear it, how it makes sense to us, how we process in our own selves. So when you check in with yourself and how you communicate, if that energy you find in your throat chakra needs some clearing and balancing, healing hands is the first one, right? So really just resting your hand around your throat chakra or anywhere that you notice it. Like I've mentioned before, sometimes my jaw hurts, right? So I just rest my hand on my jaw. It's still part of the energy in the throat chakra, communication, right? We use our mouths to communicate. But you can hold it right over your throat and just let the body do its thing because the body knows how to heal itself. We can use color. So I am wearing one of my lighter blue colored shirts because the color lighter blue resonates with the energy in the throat chakra. We can use solfeggio frequencies. So if you have tuning forks, we can chime in on that one. Or if you have singing bowls, or even go to YouTube and you can look up solfeggio frequencies. I like to listen to Power Thoughts Meditation. I don't think what the name of it is. One of my favorites for all of the solfeggio frequencies. The one that resonates with the throat chakra is 741 hertz. And some affirmations or reflections we can use as you continue and go deeper into your journaling process is that reflection or affirmation of I speak. So check in, right? Be aware. So reflect first. How do you speak? I speak assertively. I'm able to ask for things that, to have my needs met, or um, do I shy away? Do I shut down? Like gather that awareness and then choose, right? As Aaron Doughty, again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name, talks about choosing, making that decision. How do you want to speak? Choose that. Start giving yourself some practice. If you're aware in your relationships, relationship freedom, right? Any of them, whether it's a romantic relationship with family, family relationships with friends, if you're aware of something I've been wanting to say and I haven't said it, or I've been over speaking and I need to tone this back, whatever it is, be aware, assess, choose, align. That's the alignment part is choosing to do and then do it, right? But practice, write it out. The element of the throat chakra is space. So allowing time and space, allowing the space to hear, allowing ourselves the space to process. So when I talk about being or speaking assertively, it's not that reaction. Reaction happens quickly, right? Something comes at me and I come back quick and hard. At least that's usually what I would do. Come back quick and hard. That's a reaction. I didn't allow a lot of space for that in there, did I? To communicate more effectively would be allowing the space to hear it completely, have my own understanding and process to be able to then respond. There's space allowed for that process to occur in our communication. Let me know if that makes sense. We come back here to comments because homework, anyways, was that be aware, assess, align. Check in with yourself, and we can use anything on that chakra healing cheat sheet to help us through that. Iona says, love you billions. I love you billions as well. Sue says, hey, you are still here. Hey, love. Trying to catch up with your spiritual rambles. LOL, really not rambles. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I just like to call them rambles because it's fun. Yeah, it drops in, doesn't it? Thank you for coming on and hanging out with me. I appreciate that. Lots of catching up to do. Lots of catching up. Iona says, yes, we are. Abso-stinking-lutely. So again, thank you for being on here with me. I hope I can see you again real soon, like tomorrow would be perfect. Um, Seriously, I will see you. I'll be on here. I'll see you tomorrow for third eye chakra healing, talking about alignment in that observer mode that I had touched on a little bit today, being the observer of our thoughts, of our feelings, of our beliefs, just of ourselves, how we communicate, how we listen. Oh, it's amazing. Check the links, so don't let me forget. Also, check the links, get on our calls, subscribe to our channels if you've not done so already. And again, I will see you tomorrow. So much love. Bye, guys.